Chronicles of the Ashen Crow, chapters 31 to 40. Chapter 31. The tension in the Obsidian Star Guild was a palpable, living thing. Silas became more cautious, accepting only the most mundane, low-risk contracts, clearing E-rank vermin from warehouses, verifying the stability of already mapped fissures, and providing security for corporate mana crystal shipments. The work was boring, safe, and utterly useless for Kaelen's progress. His assimilation authority remained stagnant at A. His risen army was capped at its current, paltry size. The quest log was empty save for the looming, impossible primary directive: fortify the veil. Purge the anomaly. He felt like a caged bird. The paradox core hummed within him, a restless energy with no outlet. He spent his nights in his apartment, running drills with his risen, testing the limits of shared senses until his head throbbed. He could now maintain the connection for 15 seconds and had reduced the cooldown to 50 seconds. It was progress, but it was achingly slow. During a particularly tedious job, guarding a shipment of low-grade crystals in the rain, Lyra sidled up to him. She hadn't spoken much since the Saw incident. "You're getting twitchy," she stated, her eyes scanning the dripping, grey rooftops. Her rifle was slung over her shoulder, but her hand never strayed far from her pistol. Kaelen kept his gaze forward. "I don't like standing around." "It's more than that," she said, her voice low. "I'm not Jax. I don't buy the cheerful idiot routine. And I'm not Silas. I don't care about the guild's bottom line. I care about survival. And whatever you are, you're a variable. An unpredictable one." He glanced at her. "Are you asking me to leave?" "No," she said, her gaze finally meeting his. It was sharp, analytical. "I'm telling you to be better at hiding it. Your posture changes when you're bored. You look at shadows differently than the rest of us. You're like a soldier who's forgotten his rifle. You feel naked without your pets." He was taken aback by her perception. She saw through the veil shroud not with mana senses, but with pure, predatory instinct. "Noted," he said simply. She gave a curt nod. "Good. Because if I can see it, so can others. And the next person who notices might not be on your side." She moved away to take up a new position, leaving him with a fresh layer of paranoia. He was not as hidden as he thought. Chapter 32. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: his own curiosity. While Silas forbade him from using his powers on missions, he had said nothing about independent research. Kaelen began spending his meager earnings at the undermarket, but not on cause. He bought books. Tattered, handwritten journals from fail hunters, theoretical texts on manaphysics from pre-veil academics, and most importantly, fragmented logs from explorers who had ventured into high-ranking eclipses. He was looking for a pattern, a mention of anything resembling his own condition. He found nothing about wardens or paradox cores, but he found repeated, hushed references to system errors and glitches. One journal, belonging to a hunter who had lost his mind after a raid on an A-rank dungeon, was particularly compelling. The handwriting was frantic, sprawling. "The system is a lie. It's a cage. It gives us quests and ranks to make us feel in control. But it's broken. I've seen it. In the deep eclipses, the rules change. Phantoms that shouldn't exist. Geography that rewrites itself. I saw a man. His body was there, but his system was gone. Just empty. A null. The phantoms didn't even see him. He was a ghost. A null." The word sent a chill down his spine. That was what his veil shroud mimicked. The journal entry continued. "They call it the Sovereign's Mark. Those who bear it are outside the system. They make their own rules. They are either our salvation or the end of everything. The association hunts them." Kaelen closed the journal, his heart thumping. He wasn't just an anomaly. He was a type of anomaly. A sovereign. And the Hunters Association, the very organization that governed his world, was actively hunting people like him. Director Valeriana's interest wasn't just professional curiosity. It was the beginning of a hunt. Chapter 33. The revelation changed everything. He wasn't just hiding a power, he was hiding his very nature from a predator. He needed to understand what he was. The Warden Protocol V.0.1 was a tool, not a teacher. It gave him commands, not context. He needed to find another source of information, another sovereign or someone who knew about them. He recalled the journal's mention of the deep eclipses. That was where the rules broke down. That was where he might find answers. But getting into a high-rank dungeon as an E-rank was impossible. He needed a new angle. He turned his attention inward, to the one part of his power he hadn't fully explored, assimilation. He had used it to consume the spatial anomaly and the foundational properties of the Whispering Caverns. But what did that mean? What was he actually doing? During another mind-numbing guard duty, he focused not on the surroundings, but on the ground beneath his feet. The city itself was built on a nexus of ley lines, saturated with the ambient mana of millions of lives and the residual energy of countless eclipses. He quietly deactivated his veil shroud and knelt, pretending to tie his boot. He placed his palm flat on the wet asphalt. He focused his will, not on a target, but on the concept of understanding. Assimilation protocol. Environmental analysis. Initiating. It was a subtle, gentle pull. He wasn't trying to consume the city's mana. He was trying to taste it, to read its history. A flood of sensations hit him. The frantic energy of the city, the deep, slow pulse of the earth, and beneath it all, a faint, corrosive static. The same static he'd felt in the nascent anomaly. The signature of the anomaly he was meant to purge. It was everywhere, a thin film of decay over reality. But he also sensed something else. A pattern. Like a crack in a windshield, the decay wasn't random. It was spreading from specific points, powerful, active eclipses. One such point felt closer than the others. A B-rank dungeon known as the Miramaze Forest, located in a contained zone on the city's edge. It was a dungeon known for its disorienting, shifting geography and powerful illusion phantoms. The sickness was strong there. It was a festering wound in the veil. And his warden instincts told him it needed to be cleansed. Chapter 34. Absolutely not, Silas said, his voice final. They were in his office, the rain from outside streaking the grimy window. Kaelen had just proposed a radical idea. Sir, hear me out, Kaelen insisted, leaning forward. We are stagnating. The association is watching us precisely because we are being so cautious. We look guilty. If we take on a higher profile job, a legitimate, challenging one, and succeed without incident, it makes us look confident. It makes me look like just a lucky E-rank, not a hidden threat. Silas's eyes narrowed. What job did you have in mind? The Miramaze Forest. There's a scouting and resource tagging contract. B rank. It's been open for a while because the high risk, low reward ratio doesn't appeal to the major guilds. For a guild like ours, it's a chance to prove we can handle tougher assignments. The Miramaze is a death trap, Jax interjected from where he was leaning against the doorframe. People get lost in there for days. The phantoms don't kill you. The labyrinth and your own mind do. Which is why my mana sight would be invaluable, Kaelen countered. I can sense the dungeon structure. I could navigate it. We wouldn't get lost. We go in, map a significant portion, tag a few high-value nodes, and get out. No heroics. It's the perfect mission to rebuild our reputation. Silas was silent for a long time, weighing the risk. He looked from Kaelen's determined face to Jax's worried one. The association will be watching that contract like vultures, Silas finally said. If we take it, it puts you directly under their microscope. Or, Kaelen said, his voice dropping, it convinces them they were wrong. That I'm just a useful scout, not a sovereign. The word hung in the air. Silas's head snapped up. Where did you hear that term? Research, Kaelen said simply. We need to do this, sir. Not just for the guild. For me. I need to understand what I am. That dungeon feels important. Silas held his gaze for a long moment, a silent battle of wills. Finally, he let out a long, weary sigh. Fine. We'll put in for the contract. But on my terms. The moment I say we pull out, we pull out. No arguments. And you, Kaelen, you keep your head down and your pets in your pocket. Understood? Understood, Kaelen said, a thrill of anticipation cutting through the constant hum of fear. He was going back into the fire. Chapter 35. The gate to the Miramaze Forest was unlike any Kaelen had seen. It was a shimmering, vertical pool of liquid mercury, reflecting the containment zone lights in distorted, funhouse mirror images. The air around it hummed with a psychic static that made his teeth ache. The association monitor at the gate checkpoint gave their motley crew a deeply skeptical look. Obsidian Star. You're cleared for the B-rank scouting contract. Remember, this is a mapping mission. Do not engage the Mirage Weavers if you can avoid it. Your lifelines will be active. If your biosigns drop below 15% or you trigger a panic beacon, an extraction team will be deployed. Good luck. You'll need it. As they stepped through the liquid mercury gate, the world twisted. One moment they were in a sterile, concrete facility. The next they were standing in a forest of impossible trees. The trunks were like polished obsidian, reflecting their own startled faces back at them. The leaves were shards of stained glass that clinked together in a non-existent wind. The path behind them was gone, replaced by more reflective forest. The sky was a swirling vortex of muted colors. Systems check, Silas ordered, his voice tight. Comms are fuzzy, lots of static, Jax reported, tapping his earpiece. Map is not updating. GPS is completely dead, Lyra added, her rifle held ready as she scanned their warped reflections in the trees. Rorick simply grunted, hefting his shield, his own massive, distorted reflection staring back. Kaelen took a breath. The disorientation was intense, but beneath it, he could feel the dungeon. His warden senses, which had been muffled in the city, were screaming here. Assimilation protocol, active. Analyzing hostile environment. Eclipse designation, Mirror Maze Forest. B rank. Primary anomaly signature, high. Cognitive hazard detected. Foundational properties, spatial warping, illusion mana, reflective symbology. This way, Kaelen said, his voice certain. He pointed towards a gap between two trees that, to the others, looked no different from any other. The mana flow is strongest there. It's the spine of this section. Silas nodded. You heard him. Let's move. They followed Kaelen into the looking glass world. Chapter 36. Navigating the maze was a surreal experience. With Kaelen guiding them, they avoided dead ends that looked like open pathways and walked through solid-looking reflections that parted like water. The air was thick with psychic pressure, and faint, whispering echoes of their own thoughts taunted them from the glass-like trees. They encountered their first phantom, a Mirage Weaver. It was a beautiful, terrifying creature, a humanoid form made of shifting light and broken mirror shards. It didn't attack physically. It stood ahead of them, and as they watched, its form shifted, morphing into a perfect replica of Jax. Jax smiled, but it was wrong. Why do you follow him? The double asked, its voice a perfect mimic. The quiet one. The liar. He's leading you to your deaths. He's not what he seems. Don't listen to it, the real Jax yelled, his face pale. Lyra didn't hesitate. She fired. The round shattered the mirror image, which dissolved into a tinkling of glass and a fading, psychic scream. They prey on doubt and secrets, Lyra said, her voice cold. Everyone keep your heads on straight. Kaelen felt a chill that had nothing to do with the dungeon. The phantom had targeted him indirectly, using Jax. It knew. Or it sensed the secrets he carried. They pressed on, Kaelen leading them deeper. His assimilation progress began to tick up slowly as he absorbed the unique, illusory properties of the maze. 2%. 4%. Then they found it. A clearing, but unlike the rest of the forest, the trees here did not reflect. They were black, light-absorbing pillars surrounding a perfectly still, black pool of water. In the center of the pool floated a single, pure white lotus flower, glowing with a soft, soothing light. It was an oasis of calm in the chaotic dungeon. And floating above the lotus was a phantom. But it was unlike any phantom Kaelen had ever seen or read about. It was a small, feminine form composed of what looked like solidified moonlight and silver smoke. It had large, compassionate eyes, and it held a small, translucent lute. It was playing a soft, melancholic melody that pushed back the dungeon's psychic static. Analysis: phantom. A rank: unavailable. Classification error. Mana signature: pure, ordered, soothes anomaly corruption. Designation: Veil Singer. Threat level: none. Assimilation potential: not applicable, incompatible signature. A phantom that soothed the anomaly? That was the complete opposite of everything phantoms were supposed to be. The Veil Singer stopped playing and looked directly at Kaelen. It smiled, a sad, knowing smile. And then it spoke, its voice like chimes in the wind. Hello, little warden. Chapter 37. The entire team froze. Rorick raised his shield. Lyra's rifle was instantly trained on the creature. Jack stared, open-mouthed. It had spoken. Intelligibly. No phantom could do that. What are you? Silas demanded, his axe held ready. The Veilsinger ignored him, its gaze locked on Kaelen. You are early. So very early. And so small. It strummed its lute, a single, clear note that made the oppressive weight of the dungeon lift slightly. The song is fraying, Little Warden. Can you not hear it? The discord grows louder. Kaelen took a step forward, his heart hammering. What are you? What do you know about wardens? We are the echoes of what was, it sang softly. The memories of the veil, given form. We are the last resistance, hiding in the wounds. The phantoms you know are the cancer. We are the antibodies. It gestured around the black pool. This is a sanctuary, a place the sickness cannot easily touch. It looked past Kaelen, at the others. You travel with children of the broken system. Do they know what you carry? The weight of the paradox. Stay out of our heads, Lyra snarled, her finger tightening on the trigger. The Veilsinger laughed, a sound like ringing crystal. I need not delve into your minds to see the truth. It radiates from him, a beacon in the static. Its expression grew serious again as it looked back at Kaelen. You seek knowledge. You will not find it in the shallow wounds. You must go deeper, to the heart of the corruption, to the places where the sovereigns vie for the carcass of this world. Sovereigns, Kaelen breathed. There are others. Many, the creature said, but not like you. They are hungry. They see the broken veil not as a thing to mend, but as a throne to claim. You are a builder in an age of destroyers. It pointed a slender, glowing finger deeper into the maze. The one who holds this domain is such a destroyer, a sovereign of reflection. He twists truth into lies. He is why this place is a maze. He feeds on the confusion of lost souls. A sovereign. Here. In this dungeon. You must leave this place, the Veilsinger said, its voice urgent. He has felt your presence. He knows a rival has entered his domain. He is coming. As if on cue, the entire dungeon shuddered. The reflective trees trembled, and their images shifted, no longer showing their reflections, but a single, repeating image. A tall, slender man with a featureless, chrome mask for a face, standing behind them. The Sovereign of Reflection. Chapter 38. Time to go. Silas roared. Kaelen, which way? Kaelen's warden senses were screaming. The entire dungeon was turning against them, the mana flows twisting into knots. The spine he had been following was severed. The way is shut, the Veilsinger said mournfully. He controls the glass. He sees all reflections. The chrome-masked man in the thousands of trees took a step forward, and the sound of shattering glass echoed from every direction. Then we make a new one, Lyra said. She raised her rifle and fired at the black, non-reflective tree behind the Veilsinger. The round should have ricocheted or shattered the strange material. Instead, it tore through it like paper, revealing not more forest, but a swirling, grey tunnel of raw spatial energy. A fissure. Jax yelled. It is a back door, the Veilsinger said. A tear I have nurtured. It is unstable, but it leads outside the Sovereign's domain. It is your only path. Go. Now. Silas ordered. Rorick went first, shield raised, plunging into the grey void. Jax followed. Lyra backed towards it, her rifle still scanning the trembling trees. The chrome-masked man was closer now, his reflection in every surface, only steps away. Kaelen, come on. Silas grabbed his arm. Kaelen looked back at the Veilsinger. Come with us. The creature shook its head, a sad smile on its face. My place is here. To mend. To soothe. To fight in my own way. Find the others, Little Warden. Find the weavers. Find the smith. You cannot fight this war alone. The Sovereign was almost upon them. Kaelen could feel a terrifying pressure, a power that sought to unravel his very identity. He let Silas pull him into the fissure. As he crossed the threshold, he saw the Veilsinger raise its lute, ready to face the approaching Sovereign, its melody rising in a final, defiant chord. Then the grey energy swallowed them whole. Chapter 39. The exit was violent. They were spat out onto the cracked concrete of an abandoned lot on the city's outskirts, tumbling head over heels. The unstable fissure snapped shut behind them with a sound like a thunderclap. For a long moment, no one spoke. They just lay there, gasping, the normal, dirty air of the city feeling like a blessing. Jax was the first to sit up. What? What in the actual hell was that? A sentinel, Lyra said, her voice hollow as she checked her rifle. A phantom that talks. A sovereign. We are in way over our heads, Silas. Silas got to his feet, his face grim. He looked at Kaelen. It knew you. It called you Warden. The word was no longer a question. Kaelen met his gaze. There was no point in lying anymore. Not to them. Not after this. Yes. And these sovereigns? The association is hunting them. Yes. Silas ran a hand over his scarred face. We can't go back to the association. Not after this. Our report would be flagged instantly. We'll say the maze shifted, we got lost, and we found an unstable fissure that ejected us. We completed no objectives. We failed the contract. It was a blow to the guild's reputation, but it was the only safe story. Who are the weavers? The smith? Lyra asked, her eyes fixed on Kaelen. I don't know, he admitted. But the Veil Singer said I need to find them. That I can't fight this war alone. We, Silas said, his voice firm. We can't fight this war alone. He looked at each of them, Jax, Lyra, Rorick. We are involved now. Whether we like it or not. This guild is a shield. And it seems our primary duty is now to protect its greatest secret. He pointed at Kaelen. You're not just an asset anymore, kid. You're our reason for being. The weight of his words settled on the group. The dynamic had shifted irrevocably. They were no longer just a guild. They were a conspiracy. The protectors of the Ashen Crow. Chapter 40. Back in his apartment, Kaelen was more restless than ever. The encounter in the mirror maze had been a disaster and a revelation. He had confirmation of other intelligent forces at play, benevolent Veil Singers and hostile sovereigns. He pulled up his status. The brief assimilation in the maze had pushed his authority from E to E+. A small gain, but a gain nonetheless. His capacity for Risen had increased by 2. He could now hold 16. But it wasn't enough. He needed power. Real power. Not just a handful of shadow rats. The Veil Singer's words echoed, you must go deeper. To the heart of the corruption. He looked at the city map on his wall. His eyes were drawn not to the official, contained dungeons, but to the places in between. The abandoned sectors, the dead zones where the public system had no reach. The places where the veil was thinnest. He was done reacting. Done hiding. The association was hunting him. A sovereign saw him as a rival. The world was dying. It was time to stop being the prey. It was time to become the hunter. He would find these hearts of corruption. He would find the other sovereigns, the ones the Veil Singer had warned him about, and he would take their power for his own. The Ashen Crow was done building its nest. It was time to claim its territory.